Hello and welcome to the Selindor Turf Club for our barrier trials this morning on Tuesday the 19th of August with 6 trials for this morning's trials. And the first 3 will be on the track 2 surface and trials 4, 5 and 6 on the sand track, and all trials will be over 1,000 meters as we have looked at the runners and riders for trial 1, which should be up on the screen shortly. There we go. Red Dragon will be ridden by CK Core, Pacific Gold, Clyde Leck, Ramir, Y. Ify, Pacific Atlantic, Oscar Chavez, Last Samurai, Esuzer, Kayam, Zed Karil, and Lucky Magic, Al Shafiq. Those are the runners and riders for Trial 1, which should commence in about 8 minutes' time. Runners moving in for the first of the trials this morning. Red Dragon, the first one in. Red Dragon carded to run this weekend. Of course, we've got 2 race meetings in Malaysia. Saturday racing in Ipoh, and Sunday we'll be back here at the Selindor Turf Club for a 12 race card on the program as Ramir steps forward. We have a field of 7 runners for the first trial. Pacific Atlantic, the next to load. Also carded to race this weekend. Last Samurai. Now for the turn of Kayam, who is returning for over a year off from the Abdullah stable, and Zed Karil aboard, just a little bit fractious the first couple of attempts to move him into line. And we're still waiting on 2 more runners as well, both of Pacific Gold and Lucky Magic, the winner of the Selindor Mile Championship. So still currently working on Kayam. Now moves in. And the last 2, Lucky Magic and Pacific Gold, to complete the field. Lucky Magic moves in. Pacific Gold, the last one. Pacific Gold steps forward. Field of 7 runners. First trial for the morning. Handler moves away, flags up. Gates are open and they're sent on their way, and Pacific Gold has walked out of the starting stalls, has refused to gallop, and is about 20 lengths off the remaining field. The rest of the runners taught themselves to a pretty level beginning. Red Dragon from the inside, one of the first to show. Also showing pace is Last Samurai up on the outside of runners, with Ramir in between those 2 and third. Then a length back to Lucky Magic, who's caught off the track in the early stages. Then comes Kayam racing just ahead of Pacific Atlantic. And all the way down at the starting stalls is Pacific Gold, who refused to gallop and is detached from the rest of the field as they're into the final 450 metres. Up in front towards the outside is Last Samurai. Battle on the inside is Red Dragon. Then comes Ramir. Lucky Magic handles his run towards the outside of the track. Then comes Kayam, who's done the opposite. He's gone along the inside, and these 5 are well clear of Pacific Atlantic, who's outpaced into the final 150. They go, and Lucky Magic about to pick up the lead up on the outside with Ramir. Then battle on the inside is Last Samurai, but it will be Lucky Magic who's hard held all the way through, with Ramir with one last late challenge. But Lucky Magic just finishes ahead of Ramir, followed by Last Samurai. Then came Red Dragon. In behind those you had Pacific Atlantic, followed by Kayam. And Pacific Gold, still down at the starting stalls, walked out the gates and refused to gallop. So towards the outside, Lucky Magic under Shafiq for the HY Chen stable. Of course, the winner of the Selindor Mile Championship. And a nice exercise gallop this morning. Raced a little bit wide throughout, with the class horse in this field, and will win by just about a nose in the closing stages. Nice run by Ramir back in second. Then came Last Samurai, battle on the inside in third. He'll be racing this weekend, as well as Red Dragon, who was back in fourth. Then came Pacific Atlantic, followed by Kayam, and last across the line was Pacific Gold. In actual fact, didn't cross the line, and he's still down at the starting stalls after refusing to gallop. So just a repeat of the numbers: Lucky Magic the winner, Ramir in second, third place Last Samurai, in fourth was Red Dragon, fifth place Pacific Atlantic, sixth was Kayam, and Pacific Gold refused to jump. That's the results for Trial 1. Up next, Trial 2, we'll have the runners and riders on the screen shortly. Runners and riders for trial 2. And up on the screen we've got Bird Future, who will be ridden by CK Call. Top Confidence, S. Salih. Healthy Baby, R. Shafiq. Raise Your Glass, M. Ekhtiar. Kondari will be ridden by Uzair. Defoe, Emzil Hilmi. And Castello to be ridden by Y. Ify. Those are the runners and riders for trial 2. Should commence in about 7 minutes' time. So after quite a few attempts, they haven't been able to load up Raise Your Glass. And I think he could be removed from this trial, as he has been taken away from the remaining runners. So it's like Raise Your Glass will not be taking part in this trial, as the rest of the runners moving into line. And I'll be left with a field of 6. As Condery is about to join the line. And we're left with 3 more runners. Defoe steps in. Also carded to run this weekend is Defoe. Costello steps forward. And Healthy Baby, the last one. Healthy Baby moves in. Field of 6 runners, 1,000 meters. Flags up from behind. Gates are back. Away and trialing from the 1,000 meter mark. Starters caught them to a pretty level beginning. Towards the inside, Bird Future broke out on speed and deep routes on the track. Defoe showing some good early pace as well. Being followed by Costello, then battle on the inside. Top Confidence racing 2 lengths ahead of Healthy Baby, and the back marker for now is Condery with about 6 or 7 lengths to cover the field as they make the way past the 600 meter mark. And up in front it's Bird Future with Defoe. Nothing splitting the pair at the top here. 2 lengths further back to Top Confidence racing up on the inside of Costello, then 3 lengths further back in the field to Healthy Baby, who's 1 from last. And the back marker is Condery. Watches the trial unfold, about 8 lengths off the leading pairs. They turn to the top of the straight. 300 meters left to travel. Up in front, Defoe's hard held on the outside. Goes past Bird Future now. And Costello works into the race very smartly, hard up on the outside. These 2 pull lengths clear now. Defoe the inside, Costello the outside, but Costello's going the better. And Costello goes ahead of Defoe. Will win going away in the closing stages. Both runners carded to run this weekend, and Costello takes it out from Defoe. 3rd place will go towards the inside there. Looked like it was Healthy Baby, who finished just ahead of Bird Future. In behind that you had Condery, and then came Top Confidence. So Costello quickens up on the outside of Defoe, who hit the front at the top of the straight. Defoe. But it was Costello who angled his run towards the outside of the track under IFE for the Ananthan stable. And both runners carded to run this weekend, so quite a nice trial from the pair. And could be 1 or 2 to follow come this Sunday. Costello wins by just about a length. 2nd place Defoe. 3rd place went the way of Healthy Baby, just ahead of Bird Future, who was up there for most of the journey and just faded out in the final 100 meters, followed by Condery. And then came Top Confidence, who was the back marker. So Costello the winner. Defoe in 2nd, Healthy Baby in 3rd, Bird Future in 4th, 5th place Condery, and Top Confidence was back in 6th. And Raise Your Glass refused to load down at the start and was withdrawn from this trial. Up next is Trial 3. Runners and riders will be up on screen shortly. Runners and riders for Trial 3. We've got 2 unnamed runners. I believe the first runner is actually named. I think it's First Planet by Grunt out of Yulon Mercury. That will be run by Mark Lerner. The 2nd runner, Seamus Award out of Chosen Angel, will be ridden by Clyde Lett. That is the unnamed runner in this race. Banker's Princess, G. Fahan, Major Valor, Andre de Silva, Heaven's Wings, J. Ikram, and Shadow Dance will be ridden by S. Behalden. So those are the runners and riders for Trial 3, a field of 6, and take note, it's the last of our trials on Track 2 before we head across to the sand track for the remaining trials 4, 5, and 6. So after all the commotion, Shadow Dancer, I think they'll try and load it once again, but the rest of the runners being called into line now. So the first one is what I believe is called First Planet. They've got the breeding here on the trial sheet, but on the website the name is First Planet. Oh, and it looks like one of the horses has reared up. It could actually be First Planet, and I think it's stuck in the starting stalls. So we are in for an indefinite delay to this trial, and a few of the runners now being backed out. Unfortunately, I think it's First Planet in the starting stalls that's reared up and has got stuck in the starting stalls. And I think it would be best if the cameraman can go to the remainder of the field in the meanwhile. But he has come back down, will probably be taken out here. And it looks like that runner will not be taking part, so take note. First Planet, the rider of Mark Lerner, will not be running in trial 3. Unfortunately hurt himself in the stalls and has now been withdrawn from this trial. All the while, the next couple of runners have moved into line. Right under Clyde Leck, also aboard an unnamed runner, has moved in. Now for the turn of Major Valor. Banker's Princess has also moved into line. And Shadow Dancer still down there with the field. Has been quite reluctant to move in, so not sure if they're going to give him another chance. Because Beholden's still waiting inside the starting stalls. All the while they are trying to load up Heaven's Wings in the meanwhile. Heaven's Wings now steps forward. Just about set. And they're off and trialing from the 1,000 meter mark, so it's a field of 4. Shadow Dancer was also a late scratching down at the start. One of the first ones to break was the unnamed runner under Clyde Leck, pushing forward to be right up there with the early speed. On his outside is Banker's Princess, who also shows plenty of early speed, and these two pull well clear of the rest of the field. About 6 or 7 lanes further back to Heaven's Wings, and that's racing with Major Valor at the back end of the field as they make their way past the 600 meter mark and up in front. It's the unnamed runner under Clyde Leck going great guns, just by about half a length now, with Banker's Princess up into second, pushing towards the outside of the field. Is Major Valor going to make his run down the centre of the track as Heaven's Wings makes his run down towards the inside. They spread across the track into the final 250 metres now, and the field's much more close and compact. But Banker's Princess has picked up the lead on the outside of Heaven's Wings, who's battled on the inside. The unnamed runners run his trial, but it's all Banker's Princess into the closing stages, quickens up smartly, and goes clear. Will win by about 2 lengths in the closing stages. Second place, Heaven's Wings, then came Major Valor, and the unnamed runner, after doing all the work up in front, faded out to finish last of all. So Banker's Princess from the Johnny Lim stable, ridden by Fahan. Crittens up well on the outside and goes clear of Heaven's Wings. There was a hot pace up in front, and Banker's Princess was one of the leading pair. The other one was the unnamed runner under Clyde Late. That just faded out quite badly into the final 100 metres or so. But Banker's Princess kept up the gallop and wins by about 2 lengths in the closing stages from Heaven's Wings in second. Then a breakaway of about 5 lengths in running to Major Valor, just ahead of the unnamed runner by Seamus Award out of Chosen Angel and ridden by Clyde Lake, who completed the field in fourth. Shadow Dancer and First Planet were both scratched down at the start, so it's just a field of 4. Banker's Princess the winner, second place Heaven's Wings, third place Major Valor, and fourth place the unnamed runner ridden by Clyde Lake. Up next, trial 4. Take note, we move across to the sand track for the remaining trials 4, 5 and 6. Runners and riders for trial 4 this morning. Pacific General, Esper Howden, Release the Spirit, Oscar Chavez. So Oscar Chavez has now picked up the ride on Release the Spirit from the Richard Lyne stable. Can Tucker, W.H. Lim, Groovy, S. Sully, Major Gems, M. Luckman, and King of 61 will be ridden by Clyde Lake. So the runners moving in. Pacific General, the first one to step forward. Now for the turn of Kantaka. And the ride of W.H. Lim. Next into line is Groovy. Major Gems steps forward. And 2 runners left to load. Release the Spirit and King of 61. King of 61 moves in. And the last one to load, Release the Spirit. 6 runners, the first of our trials on the sand track. The 4th trial for the morning. Gates are open, and they're sent on their way from the 1,000 meter mark, and Major Gems dwelt and stumbled out of the starting stalls. Lost about 6 or 7 lengths when the starters said go. Right up there with the early pace, Kantaka is the first to respond, but has some pressure towards the inside. Release the Spirit, pushing in between runners to try and lead the field as they work their way off into the turn now. Just on about 700 meters left to travel. Back along the inside, Pacific General racing ahead of Groovy, only 2 lengths off the leader back and forth. Then comes King of 61, that's racing just ahead of Major Gems, who blew the start and has been uncomfortable throughout the entire trial, and that's racing 10 lengths off the leaders as they turn for home. 400 meters left to travel now. Release the Spirits, hard held up in front, goes 2 lengths clear of Pacific General, makes his run towards the inside. Deeper out on the track is Kantaka. They've been followed further back by Groovy. Then comes Major Gems and King of 61 as they're into the final 150 meters, and Release the Spirits up in front, still by about 2 lengths. Towards the inside, Pacific General, and running on towards the outside is Kantaka, but Release the Spirits, a comfortable winner, hard held all the way through. 2nd place, Pacific General, then came Kantaka, followed further back in the field by Groovy. Then came Major Gems and King of 61, the last one to cross the line. So Release the Spirits, a rather easy trial for him. Worked into the trial quite nicely heading to the turn and picked up the lead and was hard held throughout. 2nd place, Pacific General, also a really nice trial for him. Wasn't asked too many questions. 3rd place, the outside, Kantaka. Followed in behind that by Groovy. Then came Major Gems and King of 61, who faded out at the top of the straight. So it's Release the Spirits, also carded to run this weekend. Trialed with the blinkers on today. And trialed very nicely ahead of Pacific General. 3rd place, Kantaka. Then came Groovy back and 4th. 5th place, Major Gems. And last across the line, King of 61. As we move across to Trial 5, the penultimate of our trials for the morning. And the runners and riders will be up on screen shortly. Runners and riders for Trial 5. Up on the screen, Santino will be ridden by Tiamar. Pacific Hunter, Esper Howden. Pacific Diamond, Andre da Silva. Star 83, Zed Carril. Contarelli, F. Yap. And Infinity Warrior will be ridden by Clyde Leck. Those are the runners and riders for the penultimate trial for the morning, and that should commence in approximately 6 or 7 minutes' time. Runners moving in for the penultimate trial for the morning. Star 83 steps in. Now for the turn of Infinity Warrior. Pacific Hunter. Once again, a field of 6 runners in this trial. We just got the 2 remaining runners, Contarelli and Santino. Contarelli moves in. Santino the last one. Santino steps forward. Handler moves away. 1,000 meters to cover. Flags up. And they're off and trialing from the 1,000 meter mark. And Santino stumbled out of the starting stalls but has recovered and is not too far off the leading trio. There's 3 runners up in front. Pacific Hunter in the middle, Pacific Diamond and deep route Contarelli. And after stumbling at the start, Santino's recovered to be right up there in the leading quartet of runners. Then further back in the field to Contarelli. That's racing back 1 from last, and the back marker for now is Infinity Warrior as they work off the bat straight into the turn. Just about 600 meters left to travel, and as Pacific Hunter the lead by just about a neck or so. Racing away in second, Santino. Then deep route on the track is Pacific Diamond. That's racing ahead of Contarelli. Further back in the field to Star 83, and the back marker is Infinity Warrior, who turns in for home last and along the inside and about 8 lengths off the leaders as they're into the final 250 meters now. And up in front, Pacific Hunter still the leader. Santino's battle on the inside. Deep route, you've got Contarelli who's trying to run on alongside Pacific Diamond, but they're into the final 100 meters. And it's pretty much trial over. Wins rather comfortably here. Goes about 6 lanes clear. Pacific Hunter and wins hard held at the line. Second place, Santino. Not a bad trial after stumbling down at the start. Contarelli was back in third. Then came Infinity Warrior. Further back in the field, you had Pacific Diamond. And last across the line was Star 83. So Pacific Hunter under Esper Howden was pretty much a one-horse trial here. Wins rather comfortably in maybe even a bit more than 5 lengths, probably about 6 or 7 in the closing stages. And we'll beat home Santino first and second, both running this weekend, followed by Contarelli back in third. That finished ahead of Infinity Warrior. Then came Pacific Diamond, and last across the line was Star 83. So just to repeat the numbers, Pacific Hunter from the Charles Lett stable and Beholden aboard the blinkers and pacifiers on today. The runaway winner, followed by Santino in second. Third place Contarelli. Fourth place Infinity Warrior. Pacific Diamond was back in fifth, and Star 83 completed the field in sixth. That's the second last trial for the morning. Up next, the sixth and final trial, and the runners and riders will be up on screen shortly. Runners and riders for the sixth and final trial for the morning. Sunny Day, Etsy Lian. Top Show, ridden by Esuzer. Charity Gold, Andre De Silva. Hill Water, Mark Lerner. Pacific Scouts, Oscar Chavez. And Pacific Empire will be ridden by Clyde Lex. So, looks like Guess Me has been taken out of Trial 6. Which leaves us with a field of just the 6 runners. Over 1,000 meters on the sand track for the last trial for the morning. Runners moving in for the final trial of the morning. Sunny Day, Top Show, and now Charity Gold moves into line. Hill Water. You've got 2 runners left to load. Pacific Empire. As well as Pacific Scout to complete the field. Pacific Empire moves in and Pacific Scout, the last to load. Steps forward. 1,000 meters ahead of them. Handler moves away. Last trial for the morning. Set and ready. Gates are back, away and trialing from the 1,000 meter mark. Starters caught them to a level beginning once again. Give them a chance to settle fully into stride down the back straight. Charity Gold and deep routes on the track. Pacific Empire probably showing the most amount of early speed. Right there's Top Show and towards the inside Sunny Day holding his spot on the rail, and deep route Hill Water was just a little bit detached from the field. Lerner got urgent on him. He now recovers and racing 4 to 5 lengths off the leader. And at the back end of the field and hopelessly outpaced is Pacific Scout as they make their way past the 500 meter mark, and up in front it's Charity Gold under Andre De Silva, goes 4 lengths clear of Pacific Empire. Then comes Hill Water, who's pretty much been off the bit for most of the journey. In behind that is Top Show. Then comes Sunny Day, and the last one is Pacific Scout as they're into the final 250 meters now, and up in front Charity Gold, still the leader by about 4 to 5 lengths in running. Then comes Pacific Empire, back along the inside Top Show, followed by Hill Water. But as they're into the final 100 meters into the closing stages, it is Charity Gold in a win very easily at the end, and no serious pace in this trial. Won by about 5 or 6 lengths. Second place, Top Show, gets close between 3rd and 4th, maybe just Pacific Empire ahead of Hill Water. Then further back to Sunny Day, and only crossing the line now was Pacific Scout. So it's Charity Gold that wins the final trial for the morning under Andre De Silva. Will go start to finish up in front. And the rest of the field were struggling to stay in touch. And most of them off the bit from a long way out, but Charity Gold just doing pace work up in front. And will win by about 6 or 7 lengths in the closing stages. Followed by Top Show, who is back in second. Third place did get a little bit close. Just a reminder that the finish line is just after the Selindor Turf Club sign, and that will go the way of Pacific Empire back along the inside, who finished ahead of Hill Water. A long way back to Sunny Day, and Pacific Scout was the last one to cross the line. So just to repeat the numbers, the winner Charity Gold, followed by Top Show in second. Third place Pacific Empire. In 4th was Hill Water. 5th place Sunny Day, and the last across the line was Pacific Scout. That completes our barrier trials for this Tuesday, the 19th of August. Just a reminder, racing takes place both Saturday and Sunday in Malaysia. Saturday is an Ipoh for a 12 race card, and Sunday also a 12 race card taking place here at the Selindor Turf Club. Until then, this is Devon Pretorius signing off and wishing you a great rest of the week ahead of you, and hopefully see you at the races this weekend.